boys, are we ready to start? Should we start talking about
Yeah. Ready to start. Yeah.
something proper? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a couple of things really and have a quick chat, kind of like tying up um, things I've been before, things that are going now, and just have like I don't know, a little bridging process really. What do you guys think of that? Any complaints? No, don't care. So
Bridge.
Wayne Bridge. Oh my god! Remember Wayne Bridge and John Terry having a fallout?
Yeah,
Having
because
a fallout. That's fucking tame, isn't it? Having a fallout as if they just had a squabble.
I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know if there's any more than that, but imagine, Jesus, well, that's funny. That bad, but well funny. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, the first thing I want to talk about was the Ange Postecoglou losing his gaffing job. Let's have a take. What do you guys think, boys?
I think it's fucking mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental.
I think winning a trophy and then getting sacked is crazy. But they were so shit in the Prem. I've been saying it all year. Like he played, and yeah, they had injuries, but like he just had that mentality of I'm gonna play a high line no matter who I've got, no matter who the team is, just all out. Like, and he would do it like trying to do it against like Liverpool. This way we're getting like 4-0. They were doing it against Chelsea when they had a man sent off at the start of the season. He's like, just gonna have a high line. Chelsea were just through and through and through. Like, yeah, I think the Europa League was decent, but I don't know. Like, is he gonna are you gonna finish top four with him next year? Highly doubt it.
But is that enough to sack him? That like where
I mean,
Spurs are right now, like they haven't won a trophy in how many years, and
yeah, but he
they've just gone
finished
and won the Euro.
17th in the Prem.
I know, but you've still won. Spurs haven't won a trophy in how many years? 90 years, was it something like that?
No, it was only. I think the last one was 2007 or something.
I can see both sides. I can see like why they got rid of it because I think before I'm surprised he even got to the Europa League. Honestly, like I think in his 2 years there wasn't a time when you thought like, oh, actually, like Spurs look decent, like they could be doing something. Like, and 2 years is, I know some managers need more time than that, but I just didn't see him doing anything at Spurs. So I think they'd probably already made their minds up before that. And then, I mean, the Europa League, it's a trophy, I get it, but like, I mean, how many
they're in the Champions League now.
Yeah, I know, but like, look at the teams they've played. Like United in the final, United didn't have a good year themselves. I don't think they beat anyone decent on the way. I mean, who did they play in the semi? That Bodie Glimt. I've never even heard of them before.
Yeah, I think
I
they
agree.
played Frankfurt's a decent team to beat.
You got to beat what's in front of you. I mean, like, and especially the way that Spurs operate. How many managers have we had in the last 6-7 years? You know what I mean? Like they're just, oh no, next one. Oh, we've won a trophy. We've just got Champions League football. We're going to get rid of this guy as well. Like there's not just a bottomless pit of quality managers that are going to, if your aspirations as a club are to win the Premier League, like you're obviously not there right now, and you have to build them stepping stones, to put yourself in a good place. But there's not just a bottomless pit of quality managers that are going to help you and challenge for a Premier League title. You can't just next one. But who's the next? Who's the next one? Is he going to be miles better than Ange?
Let's have it right. They're not going to challenge for a Premier League title.
Right. So
this is typical Spurs though. Like they sacked Mourinho before a fucking cup final, who's prolific in winning cup finals. Like it's Daniel Levy. He doesn't give a flying fuck about winning things. They're the most profitable team in the league, right? They've got a great structure behind them in terms of finances. They need to pay back for the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
So them getting into Champions League is great, but who are they going to bring in? They're not going to bring in a 60, 70, 80 million pound player because it's not part of what they do. They're rinse, repeat, sell players, get players, rinse, repeat. They're top 10 team. That's what they aim for. Getting
I mean, if that's the case,
lower.
though, why get rid of Ange?
I
Well, I
think he just
think
gone too far, right? He had a good start to the season. I think they were top of the league after like 6, 7 games or something.
His
And
first
then,
year. His first year.
sorry, first year. But I mean, and then it just, they did have quite a few injuries, which it doesn't
A
help.
lot of injuries, isn't there?
But yeah, I just think that when you lose the players and you kind of lose that momentum to try and go and finish top 4 when you know you're out of it, then they just fucked it off, basically.
I think, and I like the injuries definitely. I mean, they did have a lot of injuries. Like you've got to give it to them. But like for me, I look back at that year when Klopp was playing Nathaniel Phillips and Henderson, and like I remember when we had like 12 different centre back partnerships in like 12 weeks or something like that. It was the other youngster was Nat Phillips, and then there was the other
Nat Phillips and
Reese Williams, or was it
yeah.
Reese Williams? Like they were playing together, and like yeah, granted we weren't challenging for the title because of that, but like we didn't finish 17th, and albeit like the Liverpool team was probably better as well, but like Spurs still did have a lot of good players in the squad, and you'd expect them to still be like winning here and there. I mean, 17th is like you're losing a lot of games. So, like, I think his ability to adapt and change system if he needs, he just didn't have it. He was just like, I'm going to play this system no matter who I've got available. And I think also as well, like, if you look at Ten Hag, right? Ten Hag that year when he won, was it the FA Cup where you beat City? And I think he was going to get fired, but he kind of won it, and it was almost like, all right, he's won a cup, like he deserves to stay, kind of thing. And then next year he gets sacked because he's still shit. And it's like maybe Spurs are like, winning a trophy is great, like thanks for helping us out, but does it justify us saying, okay, you can just keep your job, and then next year we're shit again?
If we're comparing Ten Hag and Ange, I think that keeping Ten Hag, spending more money on him than canning him in December was stupid. They should have fired him after the FA Cup. But I also don't see. I see more of a system in Ange's way, whether they think it's reckless or not. We see more of a system. At least you're building towards something. And if I was picking between one or the other to fire and keep, I'd have fired Ten Hag after winning the FA Cup and kept Ange after winning the Europa League. Um, but pushing
Yeah,
away from that, I want to ask,
yeah.
like, is Ange going to get another job? And if so, where?
There's loads of talk going to go to
Yeah.
Saudi, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, he will.
Everybody's going to Saudi for money, but we'll say, with the ultimate respect, is he going to get like a proper job, like not a cash cow, but
I don't think he does. I mean, he's not going to go City when Pep leaves. He's not going to go Arsenal if Arteta leaves. He's not going to go Liverpool. He's not going to go United. I know we're not up there like that, but he's not going to go to any of those big teams.
so
Yeah, I could see him going to like a smaller team, like maybe if he doesn't go to Saudi
Or
now.
West Brom or something.
Yeah, like, I think maybe like say this year now, Sunderland at bottom of the league at Christmas and they sack the manager. If
yeah.
Postecoglou has got a job, like I could see him being someone like they'd like turn to who's got like Prem experience, and like at that point I think he would pretty much take any job in a Prem, because yeah, if you take over a team that's in the relegation scrap and you turn the season around, it could like re-energize his career. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like I don't see any of the bigger teams in Europe going for him, because I think just based on the Premier League record, it was shocking.
So this is my actual probably a good point to get me to segue like I wanted to, is that it kind of annoys me that we're kind of like, I don't know, just grading Ange so poorly, and I'm not here to stand on a soapbox saying that he did a fantastic job and what have you, but there's a big part of me is well pissed off that either he got sacked or won't get a decent job again for whatever variables. Um, but Vincent Company did way worse than he did in the Premier League, and he's in Bayern Munich. Like Vincent Company could not stand on two legs in an achievement that Ange has done
Yeah,
in the
but he
Premier
had a
League.
shit Burnley team.
Mate, yeah, but he still did worse than, like, if you're telling me that his rigidness of not being able to change from his system to get results that he needs is why he got canned from Tottenham, and that it didn't work because he didn't, he wouldn't change. Company did the same thing at Burnley and just fucking drowned the ship.
Yeah,
Like,
but
was it that?
it's Burnley and it's Spurs. It's completely fucking different. That.
But you just told me
Yeah,
about a team that doesn't want to win the league, that I'm going to spend big bucks to get it done. So the team's a team. Just because they have this huge stadium. I mean, tell me honestly the difference between Spurs and Burnley in terms of the last 20 years of their true success and competing. You can argue about them going to Champions League final.
Spurs have been constantly in the Premier League top 10, and Burnley are up and down like a yo-yo.
I mean, listen, yeah, but I understand what your notion is, but I'm just saying, like, they have not achieved anything more than Burnley. Avoiding relegation is the only achievement we're going to go by. Like, but even Tottenham not being relegated, and then we're winning the Europa League, and we're going to can Ange off for the rest of his career because fucking when the company's got a massive head. I don't know, like.
I mean, I don't,
Nothing wrong with
I
massive
don't,
heads.
I don't think Ange is going to be like hand off the rest of his career. But like looking at like Vincent Company, like okay, he did really well in the Championship with Burnley, got promoted, and then did terrible in the Prem. That
Ange
Burnley
did really
team,
good in Scotland and dominated Scotland football with his style too.
I think I could.
uh, but like company went from Burnley to Bayern Munich. That's like a completely different situation, right? You've got like a championship team in a Prem. You're never expected to do anything to Bayern Munich, where you're expected to win the league every year. And he won the league last year. And from what I've seen, I don't really watch the Bundesliga, but it looks like he's doing pretty well with Bayern Munich now. Maybe Postecoglou needs to go the other way in terms of like, okay, he was at Spurs and he had people like Son and Solanke and Kulusevski and Madison, and like you're not going to get that at like a championship side, but maybe he's would be better at a Burnley or someone like that, where like a Sean Dyche, right? You're never going to see Sean Dyche at Arsenal or Liverpool or City or anyone decent. He's a relegation scrapper. Like he's a man manager, knows what to do to get the team to win. Maybe that would be better suited for Postecoglou. Maybe he'll go to one of the lower teams and do well with them. Um, I don't think he's like no one's ever going to be like, oh, we're not going to go for him again. But I just don't see a big team going for him because
Yeah,
he had those big players at his disposal, and for whatever reason, he couldn't get the best out of them. Like Son, I know was injured a little bit last year, but like I don't really remember him doing much. Like previous years, Son's been class, like banging in
Yeah.
goals, like he has had that freedom. But maybe he just didn't know how to manage those players. And like Celtic don't have like world class players, right? They're the best team in Scotland historically, but maybe he'd do better at like someone he can like man manage and put his arm around and I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I think that's a fair argument. I just also think that what's the difference in terms of stature in the division between Celtic in Scotland, the team that you coach in Japan, um, PSG or Bayern Munich in their respective leagues? Like those teams just dominate their leagues. So when you have the best players in the league in your team, like I don't think one player in Tottenham goes into Liverpool starting 11 that win the league last year. You know what I mean? But if you give and Liverpool's team playing that high line with Van Dijk and Konate and all the other stuff, would it all work out? Would it all fall in place?
yeah, I don't know. I don't think you would. If I was to say to you, Ange Postecoglou and company have both coached about and just shy of 100 games per club, so Tottenham and Burnley, right? How many points per game do you think they've both got?
You Google this already.
Yeah, I've already looked.
Between
He's
who?
probably be all right because he won a lot in the championship.
No,
So
but
Ange Postecoglou at Spurs and company at Burnley. Points per game for the Ange Postecoglou had 101 matches. Company had 96 at Burnley.
I'd say, and points per game, it's got to be in the ones. It's probably like 1.2 maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you've done this. It's going to make me so happy. But I think Bob's right. I think the last 12 months hurt him, so I think maybe just above one and a quarter at best.
1.08 So Vincent Company's 1.47.
Both on 1.53.
Oh, see, like what?
Both 1.53. So let's look at where they were at, like in terms of top level teams, essentially. All right. Company's managed 54 games for Bayern Munich. What's his points per match?
1.53.
Nah, 2.2. He'll have a good one now.
2.22.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we like over 2.5.
Ange Postecoglou, and it's a little bit more than games managed, but 113 matches managed for Celtic. What's his points per game?
Well, I was thinking 2.5.
Yeah, probably 2.1. It's probably above 2 because they probably
But
dominated
Rangers
him.
will wank as well. They're not losing points anywhere. Like
2.31.
oh,
So
Pretty even.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a good start in terms of both arguments, right? Like, you're saying, well, Ange Postecoglou. You know, I think if Ange Postecoglou goes to Bayern Munich, come into the league.
oh, 100%. I'm confident.
Right. But then also, they're both not top level managers. They're very similar. So, like, it's no shock to me that Company got the Bayern Munich job because he has a style of play and a way he wants to play, and you've seen the videos coming out of him on the training ground, effing and blinding at the defenders, saying that's not how you fucking defend, you got to do it, blah blah blah. So it doesn't surprise me that he got a top job. Now, if it was roles reversed and Ange Postecoglou went there, I wouldn't be surprised if he went. So I think my point is that whether you're coaching Burnley or whether you're coaching Spurs, if you've got your style of play and your values and what you want, you're going to get a top job. Do I think Ange Postecoglou gets a top job? I think he might. I think he personally might go to Leipzig.
Yeah,
They're looking for a manager.
Do you think there's some naivety with how difficult the Premier League is? And you think about, is it Daniel Farke at Norwich? They every time
Leeds now, I think.
But every time he got got promoted in Norwich, tried to play the same way, got absolutely destroyed, went back down. Like these, Ipswich. Do you think there's an element of naivety that you have to have you have to have your own principles and your own values if you're going to be successful. But the Premier League's a different beast, and I feel like there has to be some adaptability. As to Bob's point, like it was either Ange's way or the highway, really, right? But and it obviously didn't pay off in the sense that it's still in the Premier League, but finishes 17th. And I guess if you're counting the Europa League as somewhat success, if they've won a big enough trophy, is there an element of naivety from coaches when they get into the Premier League of not being adaptable in their style of play and how they approach the Premier League?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so. I think and this is so. Here's my argument, and this is fantastic, boys. You guys are leading the conversation when to go by yourselves. I'm so proud of you. You guys have grown so much.
We've had lots of time off to think about it.
We have. I think there is a wider range of elements to be successful in Premier League. Like, I don't think any manager can go into any club and just be successful because they're a great manager. I think that's ludicrous to think, and I don't think that they personally think, "Oh, I can just whip up and get a job done." And my next point is going to be Thomas Frank going to Tottenham. Is he going to be any better than Ange? We can argue about he's been more successful in the Premier League, blah blah blah. But what's more successful, Thomas Frank as an individual human to Ange, or the system that Brentford have in place for them to be successful? Like, and this I think I said this a couple of pods back with Liverpool. I wasn't really fussed with Slot coming in because I think the system we have at Liverpool is so good. I don't think I could jump in and run the ship, but like as long as you have decent gaffer, you can run the ship and be successful. The cogs we have in place to run the club is so well done that it's hard not to succeed. And the flip side for United, for argument's sake, them not having their cogs in place, they don't have a system in place. And then you compare it to how good Brian's been doing. Brentford, all these clubs that are the smaller clubs coming up, they have all the ducks in a row that makes them successful. I don't know if pulling one cog, i.e., Thomas Frank from Brentford and put him at Tottenham, solves their problems. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, I don't. It's a far bigger system. It's a whole operation to be successful in the Premier League, not just the right coach. You know.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. I think you're right. I mean, just look at Slot. Like, he's coming. Like, he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong, but everything was in place for him to be successful. Everything, squad, money, board, everything. Fucking from the right food, all that good stuff. Like, he's going to be successful. And then you look at Amarin's come in to United, and we're a fucking shit show. And players are not great. We're chopping and changing staff. We're trying to start the process again, obviously, basically. But yeah, I kind of agree. You've got to go into a place where things are like good if you want to be successful.
But I
Or,
think
or,
with
or you're that stopgap guy that changes that. You know what I mean?
But I think with Slot, because Liverpool looked at Amarin as well, right? I thought we were going to get Amarin like 6 months or a year before United, and then I guess he had said to Liverpool that he has this, playing style, and it didn't match up with Liverpool, and in the end, nothing happened from it. And like I think they looked at Slot and was like, okay, you might have a slightly different system to Klopp, but it's closely related enough that you can come in. We don't have to buy anyone, and you can do what you need to do with the players and be successful. And there must have been, like a similar model there. I think Amrin going to United is like United were in a terrible place as they were, and then he's come in and like tried to change the system, which is fine. But he's like, I'm going to stick with the system until it works. Which I get. Like if you're a manager and you have a system, eventually you would hope that the team gets it and stuff. But I think Liverpool didn't want to do that at the time because if you're in a good place, why change things? With United, it's like if you're in a bad place, you probably don't care as much about like flipping a script and being like, okay, let's change our system, let's get a nice younger manager in that can maybe grow. But yeah, with someone like Thomas Frank, like I think it's hard to go for it from a team like Brentford to Spurs. I'm really curious to see how he's going to do.
Well, if you just look at the way that Brentford are doing stuff, right? The Moneyball affecting basically, right? They're using data, they're using analysis, they're bringing in players. Spurs have that, but they're not going to do that. Thomas Frank's just going to become a yes man for Daniel Levy. Like, he had a little bit of say at Brentford, and I think Thomas Frank's a great coach. I think he's excellent. Do I think he'll improve Tottenham? Yeah, I think he'll make them more resolute. They won't be as open as what they were under Ange. I think they'll be a top 8, definitely a contender next year. Do I think they'll go any more than that? I don't know. It depends on who they buy, right? Like, but I just don't. I just see him being a yes man. He's not a Mourinho type character where it's his way or the highway. He's not an Ange Postecoglou where we're going to have to do this because he's adaptable. Thomas Frank. He changes formations. He's played a 3-5-2. He's played a 4-3-3. He's played a 3-4-3. Like he's adaptable. So I just think he's not going to. He's the right guy for Tottenham. I think. To and what does that define? Right guy? Is it right guy to get into top 8 in the league or right guy to try and get into Champions League football? I think top 8 in the league is the right guy.
Vince, what do you think?
I agree.
Man of many words.
What a twat. Um,
He's too busy. Too busy fucking bird watching.
There's a black squirrel walking past.
We call them squirrels, mate.
I call mine Jason.
Fun. All right, let's change gears a little bit in terms of systems, in terms of buying people to get you from top 8 to winning the Premier League. We've seen this happen before. I didn't want them to win the Champions League, but I'm kind of happy they did also with PSG revamping their system. What do you think, James? Good job, bad job, left, right, centre. Well, they won Champions League, so that's a good job, right?
Or buying players.
Well, they went from the Galactical model of Real Madrid from past of Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, all these big
Right.
weights, Verratti midfield, to I wouldn't say nobodies, but they've done I'd say far better research under Luis Enrique in the football team.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah. I mean that's I think that's a great example that money doesn't buy success. They've
And
got right, lads. I'm getting off. So
I do.
I don't know what I was saying then.
Money doesn't
Money
buy
doesn't buy success.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, they got a good coach in Luis Enrique, but I like the approach. And I think that it's important that you do need them match winners, them game winners, in your team. I think they're important. Um, them high level players, but ultimately, if the squad doesn't believe in what it is that you're trying to achieve and the style of play that you're trying to go and the principles you're trying to play to, you've got 10, 11 players on the field all thinking about football in a different way and have their own opinion of how football should be played, and that is never going to be a recipe for success. And you marry that with players egos, and things like that from big time players that have been millions and millions of dollars being spent on these players. That all you think about the players that the expensive players, they all want the ball, right? The players that make stuff happen. But when you've got three or four of them guys on the same team, that's not going to be a recipe for success. And and so the way PSG have done stuff now and building a squad and a team that might not be as might have not the talented individuals that once were, but I mean you just have to look at the games that they played and how they were absolutely dicking teams. And yeah, I think it's just a great example that money doesn't buy success.
I think the PSG. I'm so happy they won the Champions League for Luis Enrique, and they kind of adopted the New Zealand no dickheads rule, didn't they? Like
Yeah.
everyone sweeps a shed, all that stuff, no dickheads and whatever. Because you got rid of Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria, all these glamorous names, and they're just such a well oiled machine now.
Yeah.
Like Dembele could have been one of those. I remember reading something happening in the Athletic that he was having disciplinary problems, and Luis Enrique basically said, "Listen, you fucking shape up or you're out. Like we'll win the Champions League without you. Like, but you either come this way and join in with us, or go to Saudi Arabia, wherever, get money to play. Your choice, basically." And he's been unreal this year. Yeah,
I think
I like
that PSG team was so good this year. Like they absolutely does in that first leg. Like, granted, we kind of went through a little bit of a rough patch, and when we played them, we weren't playing our best football, so it was kind of like not a good situation to be in. But that first game where we won 1-0 against them, like they were unreal. Like we just couldn't stop them. Like it was just wave after wave, and yeah, I think the team that they have now is like when you look around, it's like they've got like that Vitinha like running stuff, and he was like couldn't even really do anything at Wolves. Like it really is like crazy, and yeah, I think getting rid of like Mbappe, like he's a big ego player. Like to have like Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, like it's just hard. They're like hard people to coach. They all want to do their own thing. It's kind of hard to fit them into a team, but. Yeah, I think signing that Caravicciello, whatever his name is, okay,
Havertz-Skelia.
Kvaratskhelia, however you say it. like was unreal. Like I'd have loved him to come to
Oh mate,
Liverpool. Like, and they got him at a pretty good deal. Like he's unreal. And like
what a
Dembele, like at Barcelona, he was expected to do big things, and it kind of never worked out. And it's like one of those where it kind of felt like he had big, like he had a lot of pressure on him, and he was never going to live up to his name. And then he goes to PSG, and now it's like he might win the Ballon d'Or this year.
That's mental.
But they would. I was kind of happy to see them because I did think after we played them, I was like these are unreal. Like I was. It was between them and Barcelona because I know Barcelona were doing well. But
Have you ever?
yeah, I
Has there ever been a more dominant Champions League final?
No,
5-0. Don't think so.
5-0, absolute drilling.
not even the scoreline. They have dominated that game from start to
Yeah.
finish as well. I mean,
Right.
Inter were poor, but like they took over all of it. Like
I can't remember a more dominant Champions League final.
no chance. I think I'm glad that this PSG team won. Like
As opposed to the Neymar, the Mbappe.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, I agree.
it kind of gives you like faith in the game. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah, because like if Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, all that won the Champions League with PSG, you just have multi-billionaire owners coming in to buy a club to try and throw money at it to try and do that. Like, and it's just not how football works, and that's why there's rules in place, obviously. But
That's the beauty of
yeah,
football.
for the overall game of you have this team of mega fucking stars, you fuck them all off. You have a midfield three of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and João Neves.
Yeah.
Probably the best three midfielders in the world right now. Like that midfield three, you wouldn't think it's the best, but you just won a fucking Champions League 5-0 against Inter Milan.
mate.
Like
They're walking as well.
But again, it comes down to what we talked about before, that you buy into the style of play, and if you don't do it, this shit doesn't happen. If you do it and it's right for that club, you can win the Champions League.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they didn't believe me when I said that the Real Madrid Galacticos probably the last ones they've had really in terms with Ronaldo and Figo, Zizou,
Zidane, yeah,
and all them. They never won the Champions League either, and it's kind of the same conversation with this PSG team.
Yeah.
They kind of went away from it, and well, they still feel like they're still buying everybody they want to, but obviously they've been putting. I mean, I don't know if I put Luka Modric in the same bracket as Zidane and that, and Cruz is good. Is he? I don't think they are the big profiles like those brand players, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? To when they win, but now I feel like they are going a little bit more towards these kids who want to be a brand. Like they want to be something more than just football players.
Yeah, they're hungry, right?
Yeah.
What would you say? They're hungry?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say they're not hungry because they are like these. Like they go in there just to be something. Like I think like since he's been there, I think Jude has been a little bit of like a, hey, look at me, I play for Real Madrid, I'm just fantastic. Like no, like do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense
Yeah.
or not, but I was gonna say is like Trent going there the new like when David Beckham went there. Like I would say they're quite similar in players in terms of more distribution than the footballing side, athleticism side, but like Beckham for sure he was already a brand going out there, but I feel like Trent wants to go there to be the same thing.
That's the difference, though.
Is it?
Beckham was already a brand.
Yeah.
Going to Real Madrid. Trent wants to become the brand going to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Kind of same with Jude. I think Jude Bellingham's a great footballer. Do I think he's like the best? I don't know. I'm
Don't know.
exactly. I just don't know.
Is
Obviously,
he better than Dele Alli in 2019?
it was close. It's tight.
Yeah, like 10 times a day.
But you would say for his age, he's the best
He's got all the tools.
in the world. So like like Bellingham has the most potential to become like a Ballon d'Or winner, I think, in the future. Just because he has so many years ahead of him. Like I think players like Mbappe and Vinicius and Dembele, they're very likely to win Ballon d'Ors as well. But I think Bellingham he's got like a really good chance because he's a little bit younger and like he's gone to Madrid and from day one has just been like banging goals, like he's getting assists. Jesus Christ.
Sorry,
It's a
guys.
bit loud,
Jesus.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I, the jury's still out on me for Bellingham. I know he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, I just don't know if he's like that next level above everyone
His
else.
his attitude can be a bit bad sometimes, I think, which might let him down. But he
Yeah.
is 21, so he has got, a lot of time to mature. Like I mean, I was
I'm
still an
intrigued.
idiot when I was
I'm intrigued
28.
to see. You still are now. I'm intrigued to see how Real Madrid do with Alonso
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
because I mean I think there'll be a better footballing side, and I just the way that he wins the Ballon d'Or is if Real Madrid win the Champions League next year, like, and it'll be Bellingham's. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think. Here's my question, and I guess maybe I don't even know. This might be knocking Ancelotti, which is not fair. I don't think this is Ancelotti, but I don't know if the Real Madrid environment is one to produce Bellingham to be his best. Like Bellingham will be good there, and he's showcasing he's good there. But I don't know if there's enough grinding that has to happen for them to be successful in La Liga and in Champions League because everybody's so good that he has to improve that much, or he will work that much that he'll improve that much. Like I think it'll be just like a gradual pace. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. Like,
yeah,
and it'd be interesting for Alonso because I think Alonso's more salt of the earth kind of guy than the Real Madrid is or has been.
I, I personally think that they're going to go down the PSG route, Madrid. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not saying they've got. I mean, they've got Mbappe, but I don't think they've got dickheads.
no,
But I think they want to go down the more. Can we get academy kids into the team now? Can we like a Barcelona style La Masia? Like, can we bring is Xavi Alonso the guy to recruit the kid? Promote the kids coming up from the
yeah.
academy? Because yeah, I think they'll be better in terms of footballing teams. I think they'll be Xavi Alonso will have them playing much better than Ancelotti did. Ancelotti was adamant that he didn't coach the front line. Like, he was like, why would I? Like, let them go and do what they can do. Now, is that to his own detriment? And they didn't win on the Champions League last year, but how many did they win in the past? So yeah, I'm intrigued for Real Madrid. I think they'll be better under Alonso.
If you're Real Madrid and you're Carlo Ancelotti and the signings of players you're signing, and you got to coach the front line, why the fuck are you Real Madrid? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you be like with the players they bring in. They should just be like plug and play. Hey, go score me a goal, cheers, mate. Like, maybe we give nuances in terms of trigger runs and you got to do and different patterns. But like, for you to put the ball in the back of the net, that's why we signed you. Like, that's not a at this level as well. We've got to coach them as well to go win the fucking Champions League and score goals.
Yeah, the performance. Yeah, I know what you're saying. This is
But I
like
think, go on, sorry.
no. I was just gonna say it's just when you're performing at the top level and you're trying to win the Champions League. Yeah, the quality players again. They're gonna win you games of football, but got a little bit of brilliance that you need at that right moment. But there has to be you have to get them the ball. You have to feed these players, and they can't just do it by themselves. And so there has to be that understanding of what it is that we're trying to achieve to get our game winners and our match winners on the ball. And yeah, there's got to be an element of freedom for sure. Um, but I don't think it's if you're going to try and compete to win the Champions League every year, it can't be just a let's roll the ball out and you guys will figure it out, And I think PSG are a prime example of that in terms of how good a team can be and how dominant a team can be when everyone's bought into the same, philosophy of what it is you're trying to achieve.
Here's my little, like, not an argument as such, but you've got Kylian Mbappe in your team, right? Probably top 3 player in the world, arguably, right? Who's he been? He's had Luis Enrique, he's had Ange, he's had Mauricio Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel, maybe Christopher Galtier, was it at PSG? Like every single one of those coaches, and now Ancelotti at Madrid would want to try and coach him in a way, like you said, talks about nuances. Like, does his ego, credibility within the game not help the team that he's playing for? Do you
This,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah, and this is my kind of point with Jude Bellingham being in the right environment to grind and to grow to be as best as he can be, because like the the Mbappe that lost the World Cup final to Messi, absolutely phenomenal. Like that might be single-handedly the best World Cup final performance I've ever seen as an adult. Like that's just fantastic. Since then, there's no real kick on because why is that? Does that need to be? Like at PSG, he was cruising and favorable person, and they're doing everything to keep him. He had his Real Madrid contract. He knows he's going to Real Madrid. Now he's at Real Madrid. Like he's still up there, but there's no need to work harder to be that better. So like, yeah, maybe he is a detriment to the roster because he doesn't, I don't know, doesn't care. He doesn't feel like he's on top of the world for it. Like,
Do you reckon it's because of how much stardom he's got from a young age? How,
Definitely has a
how
I
much
think
people applauded him of you're the best player in the fucking world?
definitely has a part to play, And I think for him especially, like what is his super strength, right? He's direct and he's rapid. Like as he gets older, that then he loses them abilities. He gets slower. He's not as agile. Like for a player like that super strength is to be direct and be fast and like he's gonna have to adapt
yeah,
his game. And if he doesn't, he's gonna tail off and he's gonna plateau. And it's whether he has the mindset and the mentality again, as Yates is saying, with the stardom that he's had at a young age. Does he have that mindset and mentality where as he's getting older and he loses half a yard of speed and now he's not getting by players as easily? Does he have is he in that mindset where he can be adaptable and alter his game so he can still be successful?
I think that you got to play to your strengths of those players, like
Yeah.
your Mbappe's, your Bellingham's, right? And is that conducive to a Real Madrid? I don't know because they see a lot of the ball, right? They play against people who've got 10 men behind the ball every fucking game in the Spanish league, and the only time they come up against a team that's going to attack is when they play a higher level opposition in Europe, really, or your Atletico Madrid that'll put a good game to them, Barcelona's will put a good game to them. Like, does the Mbappe style of, like you said, direct and getting the ball to his feet work at Madrid?
that's a really good point actually because when they compress all that space, like what's he supposed to do? Like, um,
I think not. I think Forest should sign him.
Oh, mate,
hey,
he'd be
give me
worldy.
worldy of that.
Like,
Give me a
just the
good
way they play.
they
Well,
won
that's
the league.
does Jabi Alonso come in and change the way that Real Madrid kind of play to get the best out of Mbappe and Bellingham? Because their super strength is more like a counter attacking. Like, does he make them so resolute defensively that the other team have a bit of hope? Oh, they're sitting back here, we can get on the ball, and then bang bang, 2 passes, Mbappe's running 1-on-1 with your centre back, and now you're fucked.
I think that the work he did at Leverkusen says no. Like he's gonna have better players he had at Leverkusen. His passing patterns and those trigger points as well for rotations. Like I say no. Which is going to be really interesting, actually. To your point, Dan, like what you do is fucking superstars who.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued to see what he does over there.
I think you can, like you said, like it's kind of hard to, or it's not always necessary to coach players like that because they are the best in the world. But I think having a system that works for them, like if Alonso wants to come in now and play a high press, like are Mbappe and Vinicius going to run around and high press? Like, I mean, can you get them to do that? They probably don't want to do that, and they probably won't be happy doing that because they're the kind of players that, like when you look at like Messi, for example, he spends more time walking around because he's kind of just sneaking into spaces, and then when he gets the ball, he's just like bang, he's got all the energy to kind of do something. I think the issue is having multiple of those people in the team. Like I think I saw, and this is at a completely different level, of course, but like I think it was Thomas Frank. I saw some the other day. He was talking about like Fabio Carvalho, and he was like, when he gets the ball, like I don't tell him what to do with it. Like that's his decision. He's a creative player. Like I don't want to kind of cloud his judgment. Like he makes good decisions. So once he's in that position, he can make that pass. He can take that shot and he can do things. You don't try and like, you know, force him to do a specific thing. And I think with like Mbappe and Vinicius, it's kind of like you want to give them the freedom to do it. But at the same time, having two people where you're basically like, okay, do your own thing is hard because when you want to try and win the ball back, or if, Vinicius is direct and going at goal, like when Mbappe's making a good run and he's not getting it passed to him, like Mbappe is kind of like going to get pissed about that. And it's like, I feel like in some teams, when you have those superstars, Vinicius might not want to give Mbappe the ball all the time because he's so certain he wants to score and he wants to be the star. It's the same with Mbappe, and it's almost like people are trying to like be better than everyone else on their own team, which I think is a bad situation to be in.
I mean,
Do you think he changes formation? Do you think he plays these 3-4-2-1?
Yeah, and I think because when he came in, he said the first person he wanted was Dean Huijsen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's why they signed him because there was a time when it was like Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and I think like all the big teams in England were looking at him because he had a £50 million release clause. He was class. Everyone wanted him. And I was thinking the only way that, because as a Liverpool fan, I wanted us to sign him. And I was like, I think we've got a good chance because we've just won the league. The only way that I think we don't have a chance is if Madrid come calling because it's Madrid. And it was kind of like, oh, under Ancelotti, like he wasn't sure if he wanted another defender, like blah, blah, blah. And then when they got Alonso, it was like, we want Huijsen. And I was like, right, it's done. Like he's, a Madrid fan. He grew up in Spain. Like he's going to go there. And I think that says a lot about probably how he wants to change things because they still have, Militao and Rudiger, who you would imagine he's not going to start over. So I get, I'm who else do they have? Like, who's a backup? I can't even.
Nacho.
Yeah, so it's like, could you be bringing in a youngster for the future? Maybe, but like, I would presume that he's going to play a back three, and like that's why he wanted Huijsen.
There's already talks that he's impressing everyone at Madrid like massively.
I saw a video the other day, and he like chested it and was just like doing keepy ups, like during the game, like a centre half. Someone switched it to him. He's technically so good for a centre back.
Mourinho said it, didn't he, when he said this kid's going to be the best centre back in the world, or so along those lines. But I just clicked on his stats, right? His rise to Real Madrid is exquisite, by the way. He played 2023. He played for Juventus Next Gen, played 27 games for them. Then went to Juventus like fully and played one game. Went on loan to Roma and played 13 times. Played for Bournemouth 32 times last year, and now he's at Real Madrid. Yeah. He's not even played 100 games, and he's at Real Madrid.
That's mental. That.
Yeah, I mean,
he's 20 years old.
For Juventus to like want to sell you like at such a young age, they saw zero potential in him because I don't think they sold him for that much. Wasn't it like in the teens or something, like 13 million or something to Bournemouth? Like,
yeah,
I don't think it
15.2 million euros.
Mate, like you don't sell someone that you think is going to be a world beater for that. So obviously he didn't do enough to impress. And even I think when he signed for Bournemouth, like I don't think he started right away because he kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, I think
They had
someone got
they had a couple of
injured.
injuries, yeah.
Yeah, someone got injured. He came in, and it was like, I think they went on like a 8 game streak of like keeping clean sheets or something like that. And everyone was like, since this Huijsen's come in the team, like he's transformed them. And it was like, all of a sudden, like, wow, this kid's like unreal. Like Liverpool wanted him, Chelsea wanted him, Arsenal wanted him, and then Madrid wanted him. It was just like, yeah, when all them teams come calling, it's like you've had a very good year, and for such a young age, it's crazy.
Well, as the last point to finish off, kind of tie it all together, I think things really interesting the way you've gone through different club systems, different I don't know, style recruiting people, I guess, even to the effectiveness of managers. I think the last thing I wanted to ask about is the legend himself in terms of Sir Alex, and if he would survive in this day and age of football. I seen someone the other day that you wouldn't have not only that you wouldn't have a chance, but I think you'd find it tough being a manager in this day and age in terms of managing these big egos. You look at Rashford now in terms of probably on the way out of United and being the big character he is and have to manage with them. The Judes of the world, the Trent of the world, now going out to the big clubs of Real Madrid. Like, would Sir Alex Ferguson, despite his success, really be thriving in this? Or we can even argue his first year at United wasn't great, but if he got the sack in the first 6 months, he'd be gone.
I don't see why he wouldn't do well. I think he still had egos in that team. Like, I mean, Beckham coming through as a youngster, like there was a lot of issues there, and I know they clashed a lot because of that. But you've got like your Roy Keanes and your Scholes, and your Rooney's coming in. Like when they signed Rooney, he was you know expected to go on to big things. Maybe they didn't have the same egos. Like I think like Rooney was always kind of he was a hard player, but he was like kind of humble. Like he never come out and was like, I'm the best ever. And like you even see in interviews now when he talks about people, like he says so many players are better than he was when he was way better than them. He's a very
Right.
humble person. And I think Bex wasn't. Bex was kind of like one of the harder players probably, but I don't think he was like a bad player. He just got distracted. But Ferguson brought the best out of like you look at so many of those players that he had like you kind of like your Fletchers and players like that, like your O'Shea's. Like, I mean, they were nowhere near good enough, really. But like he got the best out of them, and they fit the system. And like I think as a man manager, like he would probably have been able to do with it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'd still do well. I think because like to your point, I think we had a couple of I wouldn't even say egos. I'd say they were just more driving the team players. You know what I mean? But we had the passengers on the bus too. We had your O'Shea's and your Fletchers. I rewatched the Champions League game where United played AC Milan. Fucking Jason Park, Mark Pirlo off the field the other day. I rewatched it because I wanted to just watch Park do it. Like those are the players you need, and I think they'd have in the team still and be successful.
Who's Alex's biggest signing? Like, he never signed Ronaldo from United to United. Do you know what I mean? Like, he never signed Beckham to Real Madrid. He never. I can't think of a big signing he made
Well,
where
that's
he
what.
was a ready
Rio,
established
maybe.
player. Yeah, but Rio was still young though, very
Yeah, true.
impressionable. And also to Bob's point in terms of managing those kids and having those egos under control. Shit, he'd been there 10 years already. Like it was his highway, where the highway already set. Boom.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew what you're going into. Um, like I don't think
But
he
I
wasn't
don't.
there for Blackman. He wasn't there for Cavani. He wasn't there for Pogba. Got shipped out when he was there. Like, who was a big
That
one?
that like there was a shift in United. I think when Ferguson was there, they had that academy and they had the young players, and Ferguson was one of those managers where I think of kind of like a Klopp manager as well, where you can bring in a youngster and he's going to put his arm around him and he's going to make him into a good player. Like Klopp didn't have many of those big signings.
No.
Ferguson didn't have those. Like you brought in the young players and he made that team good, and he filled the gaps with the players like Fletcher's and O'Shea's and Park Ji Sung's. Like if if they didn't have someone to do the job, like he would, get someone to do that specific job. Like, you up against Pirlo, and it's like, all right, what can we do? Like, we'll put Pochettino somewhere, and that was just like a tactical piece that's like unbelievable. But like since Ferguson, United started going downhill, and the club's model came. Let's buy people like Ibrahimovic and Cavani and like these kind of players that once upon a time were world class, and they're kind of finishing their career. And it's like maybe they can come in and help us. And I think that whole model has kind of, worked even more against them.
I think the answer to your question is Cantona.
Good show.
You see the Cantona or Roy Keane? Like,
I don't think. I
think Cantona because Roy Keane was excellent. He's heavily underrated as an actual footballer because he was more than just a fucking brute. But he got relegated with Forest that year before we bought him. Cantona won the league with Leeds in 91, 92, and then we bought him. Sorry, 92, 92, 93? 91, 92, or whatever it was. But then we bought him. I think he was the catalyst for Fergie.
Yeah, I think Cantona's the one that answers the question. I think Roy Keane still made it big at United. Like he was good, but he became Roy Keane at United that we all know. Do you know?
Yeah.
Cantona I think is a great shout in terms of coming in, but that's like one in 25 years. Like,
yeah, I mean, but he signed you Cantona's, and then he experimented with a Veron type character that didn't work in the Premier League, and then like a Van Nistelrooy coming in was a good buy.
That's a good one.
But it was the start of it was, I'm going to buy this player and bring him in. He's going to win us the league. You do your jobs to get the ball and win us the league.
Yeah.
Did it with Van Persie. We got Van Persie for free from Arsenal and said, he came in and said, we're going to win the league if you guys give Van Persie the ball. And Van Persie was the last guy to score 20 plus goals for Man United in the league.
I think I still think all these people you're naming now are very much sort of the other people. Like they're still good people. Like
yeah, he's not bought a fucking worldy player that's like killing it. You know what I mean? And I'm so happy we're kind of not doing that now.
I told you, fucking Kent McTominay.
Don't bring up Scott McSauce again.
Oh, shut up, mate. You said nothing for the last 20 minutes. Now you're going to call me out for my comedy comment.
Scott McSauce is coming back.
Jesus Christ. The game's gone.
No, I like the signs of Cunha and Wemo is going to be coming in. Like, the big-ish names, but they're not.
They're not superstars.
Yeah, they're not the superstars that Ed Wood.
It'll be like the Roy Keane's coming in.
And they're Premier League proven as well, I think, which is a big one.
So I'm excited to see. We just need to get rid of some of the fucking Deadwood now.
I think you'll do all right next year. I think you'll have a much better. You can't be any worse than last year. But
if we get any worse than last year, we're going down.
Got our fingers crossed. I'm waiting just in case. Mate, if you guys go down.
Can I ask, though, real quick, before we leave? Liverpool's... Did anyone see Liverpool's tweet of, like, when they play Man United? It was It was a picture of Old Trafford in the background. And it had United badge in one corner, Liverpool badge in the other corner, and the two dates that we're playing against you. Like, why did it have Old Trafford in the background? And not, like, half and half. It was just a full Old Trafford picture. Let me try and see if I can find it. Give me a sec.
On Twitter.
It's probably because Old Trafford's basically our home ground as well.
Yeah, I mean...
It's Mo Salah's home.
Salah banged in goals for fun there, didn't he? I'm just so glad that you're following Liverpool, mate. I'm glad
I'm not. It pops up on the fucking page.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the 80s followers now. Liverpool FC.
Liverpool FC.
No chance.
The Cup. Mate, they post so much stuff that
Mate, it's mental, isn't it?
Well, on Instagram, it's like when we signed Wirtz, obviously, then they put like
75 things.
I'm not like every 5 minutes it was like another picture of him, and then they just done the same with Kirkes as well, and Frimpong was the same. Like, I'm just happy that those three are over the line now.
Yeah, right.
They've dragged on for a little bit. Now it's like I'm curious to see what we do because I think they still want another centre half and a striker, but we're not going to get Isak because he's going to be too expensive. It looks like we might go for Guehi because he's got 1 year left in his contract, and then I'm not sure who we're going to get up to.
It's gonna be interesting. I was thinking of this actually when we did sign Wirtz because I thought Isak would be an option for us. I was surprised we went with Wirtz. I thought Isak would have been. Oh Jesus, look at that!
Like that there, like I don't get why it's just Old Trafford in the background.
Yeah,
That is bizarre.
Yeah, that was
probably it's them that'll nod to Old Trafford before they fucking tear it down.
maybe. Yeah, I sounded really weird. I was like, "What the fuck are they doing?" Like, you'd put a picture of Anfield in the back.
Yeah,
Against
Mind
United.
games.
You know what I mean?
Mind games.
It's all about them mind games, though.
They're like, hey, this is the roof of the Old Trafford leaking water, like they're gonna leak goals against Salah. Hey,
Maybe they knew that like all United fans would be like Dan. They'd get like they're in
Living the
Dan's head now.
rent free.
Yeah, maybe they're in all the players' heads now.
I
As
mean,
well.
that's definitely a marketing tool for sure.
all right, I think that will end it quite nicely, boys.
Welcome
Glad I was
back,
back.
everyone.
Good work,
Uh,
boys. Glad we
hey.
carved out an hour in the last 3 weeks.
Bit of a shout out to Mark, because he's Mark
Oh.
Bentley.
Bentley.
Yeah, listen.
Shout out
Because
to Susan, maybe.
Yeah, sorry, Sue. We apologise. We know you avid listener, but your son's a bit of an idiot.
Bit of a twat.
Giving it the big sticks. When are we recording? When are we recording? When are we recording? We give him a date to record, and he's at 60th. Fuck's all that about?
Twat. Gotta love him.
Spends more
Seems like
time
what-
at Chris
Someone's
house
got
than he does at his own house.
Susan's
Can't
gonna
wait
watch it
until,
if Mark's not in it.
She will.
I hope so.
She's getting withdrawal symptoms.
If she don't, I'm not sending that T-shirt I send her. Take it back. All right, boys.
All right, gents.
Until next time.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with all your friends. We'll be back next week with more nonsense.